Hey everyone, how's everybody doing? All right, so this video is a review of the surface area of all the different solids that I have taught you so far. The reason for this is because I know that surface area as a topic is not an easy topic. So what I will do is I will go over the formula of each individual solid that we learned. Then I will go over an example for that formula. Then this video will be posted as a warm-up. You will need to watch the video and complete the warm-up accordingly, and then after the video there will be a quiz posted sometime at the beginning of next week, May 12, May 11, something like that. All right, as we get closer, I'm going to let you know. So first very unique solid is the cube. How do I find the surface area of a cube? Remember, the surface area is considered a prism. So the very basic way to find the surface area of any prism is the lateral area, which is the perimeter times the height of the prism, plus 2 times capital B, and remember capital B stands for the area of the base. I'm gonna write those on the side. So B is the area of the base. Is the perimeter of the base. And then I would use H instead of using L in this case, since I know there is no slant height when we have prisms. I'm gonna use H. That is the height of the prism. All right, so let's do an example on a cube. So one thing about a cube that all the faces are square. So if I say that the side length is 3, that means the width is also 3 and the height is also 3. All right, let's find the surface area here. So the surface area of a cube is, I'm going to use that formula. The surface area is the perimeter of the base. So I'm going to go ahead and trace the base. Here's the base. Remember, it's a square, okay? The square has 4 sides. All 4 sides are the same length. Each side is 3. That means the perimeter can just be 3, the length of the side, times how many they are, which is 4. Now, times the height of the prism, which is the cube. The height here is also 3. Again, you know what's beautiful about the cube? All of it is the same. Plus 2. B is the area of the base. So let's take a look. The base again is a square. Why is it 2 times B? Because we do have a square at the bottom and a square at the top. You see the bottom square right there that I'm shading? There's also another one that's at the top. Okay, so that we have to accommodate for the one on the top, one on the bottom. So it would be, to find an area of a square is nothing more than L times W, so that would be 3 times 3. Remember, we have to multiply by 2. 3 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 3 is 36. Plus 2 times 9, that is 18. Okay, and then let's add 36 plus 18. The surface area is 54 units squared. Okay? All right. Moving on to the next solid, rectangular prism. Very, very similar to the cube, but I'll write the formula again on the top. To find the surface area of a rectangular prism, it is the perimeter of the base multiplied by the height of the prism plus 2 times B. Capital B here stands for the area of the base. And again, the area of the base is nothing more than whatever the base is. Since it's a rectangular prism, that means the base is a rectangle. Let's take a look at an example. I'll do 3 4 by 5. So 3 is our W. 4 is our height. 5 is our length. All right. So how do I find the surface area? Let's just zoom out a little bit so you all can see it. All right. So the surface area, the perimeter of the base. So what's the base? The base here is a rectangle. So let me trace that. You see the rectangle? Okay. So it's 3. And then the other side down here should be 5 because it faces this one. Remember, rectangle opposite sides are congruent. So these two are 5. These two must be 3. Okay. So you can do it the very basic way by adding all of them together. So it'll be 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. This is the perimeter. Plus the height of the prism. The height of the prism here is 4, right there. So it would be times 4 plus 2 times b. B is the area of the base. Now again, the base is a rectangle. How do I find the area of a rectangle? Yeah, L times W, so that's 5 times 3. That's it. Let's do math. 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 5. Okay, so 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 5 is 16 times 4 plus 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 3 is 30. Of course, you can do all of this using the calculator. There is no need for you to do all this work in your head. So 16 times 4 is 64 plus 30. That should be 94. And again, units squared. Okay, I'll just double check the math here. Yeah, it's 8 and 8, that's 16. All right. Okay. Solid number 3 is a polygonal prism. I don't know why I don't have the name, but I can write it here. It's a polygonal prism. Now, in a polygon prism, the issue with this problem is the prism can be different because every polygon is different. Now, in the case that I have here, I'm going to trace the polygon, which is the base. I'm going to trace that in green. Now, this polygon right here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a pentagon. So that's a pentagonal prism. Okay? And what I'm tracing in orange, that is the height of the prism. Okay, remember prism has a bottom base and a top bases of your prism, or the sides of the prisms should match the number of the sides the polygon has. So if we have a pentagon, that means we should have 5 different rectangles as a face, and you probably can count them. Here's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, the one on the front, and then 5, the one on the side. Okay. So how do I find the surface area? Well, it's the same equation for just like it is for all prisms. So the surface area is the lateral, which is the perimeter times the height, plus the area of the base. Now the base here, I'm going to do 2 times b, and I'm going to change that in a second. Now, the base here is kind of different because we don't have a rectangle or a square anymore. We have a polygon, okay? So the B here is the area of the polygon. What is the area of the polygon? It's the apothem times the perimeter divided by 2. A here is the apothem. I can write it again for you. And then P is the perimeter. We have covered this when we did polygons, okay? All right, let's go over an example. So surface area of a prism, let's do, all right, so we'll do the side will be 5.3, sorry. Let's say we have a prism that has a side of 6, a apothem of 5.3, a height of 13. All right. So the perimeter of the base. Now the base is a polygon and it is a pentagon. So it's 5. Each side is 6. How do I find the perimeter? It's 5, the number of sides, times the length of each side, which is 6. Now what's the height of the perimeter? I mean the prism. The height of the prism is 13. plus 2 times the area of the base. Again, the area of the base is the apothem. What's the apothem? 5.3 times the perimeter. You can multiply the 5 and 6 right away. You can keep them the same the way they are. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to multiply. So it's 30. Divide that by 2. Okay, let's do the math. The surface area here, 5 times 6 is 30. That's the perimeter. 30 times 13, that is 230 times 13. That's 390 plus, let's do this one. It's 5.3 times 30, and then we divide that by 2, and then we multiply that by 2. So I get 159. Again, you can do it this way too. It's 2 times 5.3 times 30, and then divide that by 2. It's 159. Let's add the 390 plus the 159, get 594. And again, that is a square units. Okay. Now, for you not to get confused, the 30 is multiplied to 5.3. That's the polygonal prism. It is the most difficult, but it's really not if you break it down the same way I'm breaking it. I did it only in 3 steps. You don't have to find each thing alone. You can find them all in one thing. You have learned how to find all of this and you practice enough on it. All right, the next shape would be the right cylinder. It's a circular cylinder. Now, we have not covered other than a circular cylinder. Again, the surface area doesn't change from cylinder to a prism. It's the same. Remember, they do share some of the properties. So it is the lateral area plus the area of the base. And again, because we have a bottom and a top base, it's 2b. Now I'm going to break this down further. What's the lateral of the circular? So I'm going to use a different color, and then I can probably erase this so I can have enough space. All right, surface area. The lateral area is it's 2 pi r h. It's 2 pi r h. I explained in the video where the 2 pi r h come from, but it's a formula. Just use it. And then 2 pi r squared, it's because we have a circle at the bottom and a circle at the top. And to find the area of a circle, it's pi r squared. Now there's 2 circles, that's where the 2 come from. Okay, now this is nothing more plugging it in. I would definitely keep using pi as 3.14. Okay, so we can keep our rounding errors to the minimum. 2 times 3.14 times r. Now, the example I have, r is 4 and h is 7. R is 4, h is 7. Okay, so it would be 4 and then h is 7 plus 2 times 3.14 is 16, or 4 squared. Now let's multiply that. So we get 2 times 3.14 times 4 times 7. I get 169.56. Plus, I add these as well. I get 100.48. Let's add. So I get 270.05. And again, it is units, square units. Okay. On to the next. Where are you? Square pyramid. All right, the cone pyramid, they do share this property. So let's go ahead and remember what a surface area of a pyramid and a cone is. The surface area for the pyramid and the cone is 1/2 the perimeter of the base multiplied by the slanted height plus the area of the base. And again, because the pyramid and the cone, they have one base, we don't add the 2 in front of it. this, whether it's a square pyramid or it's a polygonal pyramid, they all meet at a point on the top that we call it the apex point. So there is no top base, it's only bottom base. Same thing idea for the cone. So P stands for the perimeter of the base. Let me just write what everything stands for on the side here. So P stands for the perimeter of the base. L stands for the slant height. Capital B is the area of the base. And I'm only going to go over a square one. However, if it's a rectangle, remember it's L times W. If it's a polygon, the base becomes the apothem times perimeter divided by 2. But the example I have, it's only going to be a square pyramid. So let's say we have a square pyramid with a side that's 8 and with a slant height that's equal to 7. What is the surface area of that square pyramid? All right, so just apply the formula. So surface area would be, it's 1/2 the perimeter. So I'm tracing it right there. It's a square. We know in a square all 4 sides are the same. If each side is 8, so that means it's 8 times 4. So it's 4 times 8. The perimeter of the base times the slanted height. If the slanted height is given, like it is in our problem here, just do it. If it's not given, you want to create the triangle and find it. Because remember, it does make a right triangle with the height of the pyramid. That's if it's not given. But in our case here, it is given. Plus the area of the base. Now the base is a square, that's L times W, so it's 8 times 8. And that's it. Let's just apply some math. So 1/2 times 4, that's 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 times 7 is 112. 8 times 8 is 64. Let's add 112 plus 64. I get 176, and again, it's a square units. Okay. Last but not least is the cone. Okay. And again, the surface area of a cone is 1/2 times the perimeter of the base. Oh, I did something different here. I think I showed the other way, so I'm not going to show that one so I don't confuse you guys. So the surface area is the lateral area plus the area of the base. The lateral area of a cone is pi RL. Pi RL. R stands for the radius. L is the slanted height. They put S here. It's L. We can use L. Base is a circular, so it's always pi R squared. And again, it's only one base. Therefore, it is 1 pi R squared. All right. Next would be to do an example on the cone. So example on the cone, let's say we have a radius of 5, a slant height of 7. Radius is 5, a slant height of 7. What's the surface area of the cone? Well, surface area, again, we're only applying the formula, so it's pi 3.14 times r times 7 plus pi again times 7. Times r squared. R is 5 squared. Let's do some math. What's 3.14 times 5 times 7? I get 109.9 plus 3.14 times 5 squared. I get 78.5. Let's add. I get 188.4 square units. Okay. All right. I lied. This is the last one, the sphere. Sphere is the simplest. Remember, sphere, the surface area of a sphere is nothing more than 4 times the area of a circle. So it's 4 pi r squared. So if we say we have a sphere that has a radius that's equal to 6 inches, what's the surface area of the sphere? Surface area of the sphere would be 4 pi, r is 6 squared. So it would be 4, 3.14, and then 6 squared is 36. What would that equal to? Times 36, we'll get 452.16, and it is square inches. This concludes our review for the surface area of the of all the solids that we have learned throughout section number 11. It is important to remember a lot of these formulas, and also I do recommend study the difference between surface area, lateral area, because it's definitely will be on the quiz. And that's all. If you have any questions or need help with anything, I would love to hear from you. If you would like a review also on volume, you can email or text me. I will make one if there is enough people that need a review on volume. All right, until I see you next, please stay well and healthy. Bye now.